Well, hello there, everyone. How are you doing? Do you need any motivation? Okay, stay tuned. This should motivate you. I'm going to put some links below too. Make sure to check out those links. And today is September the 6th, the year 2022. I was going to make this video about an hour ago, but I had a call from Tanner from Kiavi about the one house I've been waiting on to get, it's the BRRRR strategy kind of with a hard money loan. So I got my final rates, final amount of my cash back. I've been crunching numbers for the last hour. So I'm not going to cover that in this video though, what I've decided to do. So anyway, moving on. I'll give my little disclaimer my attorney said to do. And if I ever forget to say it, I'll put it below. And if they tell me I don't have to really say it, just keep it below. But anyway, I'm not a lawyer, not a CPA, I'm not an attorney. So anyway, I'm not going to talk on that stuff today. Do you need motivation? All right, I'm going to tell you a quick story and a reference to another story. But stick this date in the back of your mind. Do you know this date? I'll probably put it in the subject line, the title of this video, but it is September the 6th, 1995. September 6th, 1995. Yes, make sure I got that date right. What were you doing on that date? Some of you might not have been born. Some of you were kids. Some of you were probably around the same age I was. Some of you were younger. Some of you were older. Okay, all depends on who you are. In September of 1995, I was living in Maine. All right, before I get to that story, I'm going to tell you another quick story and I'll come back to that important date. It's a milestone, it's a history, it's a record-breaking date in the history of the United States of America. It's a date everyone needs to know about. All right, but a little backstory first. I have two kids. My oldest son, when he was in elementary school, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, I forget, probably second grade or third grade, I think it was, he was sick one day. I forget exactly what he had. I think he might have had a fever of 100 or something, chickenpox, something. And I kept him out of school for that day. He never liked that. He did not like it. That was the only day of school he missed during his kindergarten through, I believe, graduating from college, school history. All right. My youngest son started kindergarten when he was 4 years old, graduated high school when he was 17, went off to the United States Coast Guard Academy when he was 17 years old. He made it from kindergarten all the way through elementary school, all the way through middle school, all the way through high school, and I believe all the way through 4 years of college with never missing a day of school. That's a milestone. Both boys did great. They did great. It's showing motivation, dedication, sticking to it, having grit, getting it done. Traits that all investors need to have. I always say, look in the mirror. It's in here. It's not pointing at somebody else like so many Americans do. So many Americans point the finger, blame the other person. It's this political person, it's that president, it's this person, it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my wife, it's my husband, it's my friend, it's my boss, it's my coworker, it's the police officer, it's this person, it's that person. They blame everybody but themselves. But we all need to look in the mirror. We all need to dig deep. Because I'm going to tell you about an individual who dug deep. He did what nobody else has done. And he broke the record on September 6th, 1995. All right, what record is that? I'm going to tell you another quick story. My mom died when she was my age. Okay, she had a disease called ALS. I can never pronounce it correctly, but it's ALS. It's commonly known, I'm sure you've heard of it, as Lou Gehrig's disease. Why was Lou Gehrig so famous? Why is this disease named after him? Do you know? I'll tell you real quick. Lou Gehrig played for the New York Yankees with Babe Ruth back in the 1920s and 1930s. Lou Gehrig was just as good or even better than Babe Ruth, but everyone knows Babe Ruth's name. But Lou Gehrig hit home runs, had a high average. This was in the dead ball era. They did not hit home runs. Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig hit home runs. They hit high for average. And Lou Gehrig played every single day. He set a record in the 1930s, like maybe 1936 or something, that people thought would never be broken. He played in 2,130 consecutive baseball games. All right, that record stood for 50 some years, 60 years, whatever it was, until whatever that date was, September the 6th of 1995. I was living in the state of Maine. I was in the United States Navy. My oldest son was 3.5 years old. He probably doesn't remember it. He was there with me in the living room of our house in East Machias / Cutler, Maine. 2-story house, cedar siding, cedar roof, cedar siding, cold. But we had a baseball game on TV that night, like I did so many nights when I could tune in, like I still do. It was the Baltimore Orioles playing the California Angels, as they were known back then. And I believe it was at the end of there was in Camden Yards, Baltimore, Maryland. So the Orioles were the home team. And as the top of the 5th inning ended, they got 3 outs. Mike Mussina was pitching. The 3rd player got out. I think the second baseman called a fly ball. It wasn't a pop-up. It was into the outfield. I believe that's what it was. To get 3 outs, they came in off the field. One of those players, as he was coming in, you can see it. I'm going to put a link below to a video. Watch this video. You can see him kind of do that. He breathed in. Why did he breathe in like that? Because completing that top half of that inning completed the baseball game. A baseball game is 9 innings. But once they complete, the opposing team bats 5 times, 5 innings. It's an official game. If it rains and the game gets rained out, if it snows, whatever, it's an official game. It can be a complete game. They can't just say it's canceled and the game's over. It's a complete game. So when that happened, it set a record. Remember Lou Gehrig, 2,130 games. Cal Ripken Jr. had now played in 2,131 games. 2,131 games. He stuck to it. He was a rookie in 1982. Played his first game. And now we're in the year 1990, whatever I said, 1995. Nobody else has done that up to then. No one else has done that since then. And probably no one will until somebody does. Some year in the future. Who knows when it will be. Because there's nobody in Major League Baseball right now who's even close to breaking his record. Because he played more games for more years until he voluntarily sat out. But when he broke that record, people started clapping. I remember I was in the living room of my house. I believe I started clapping because he set a record. He came out on the field. He tipped his hat. He waved to the crowd, etc., etc., etc. He went back into the dugout. The crowd kept cheering. He came back out. He went back into the dugout. He came back out. He went back into the dugout. The President of the United States was there. The Vice President of the United States was there. Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper, 56-game hitting streak, was still alive. He was there. Ernie Banks was there. Rod Carew was there. Other famous people were there in attendance. Sold out stadium. I was in Maine. But then somewhere after the ovation continued for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, somewhere along the way, Ripken had come out. His wife and 2 kids were there. He went over to him. He took his jersey off, gave it to one of his sons. I think he had a son and daughter. Gave it to one of them, hugged him, kissed him. Was in his t-shirt. Went back into the dugout. But he came back out a minute or so later with a new jersey on, tucked in and everything. And at some point, around 10, 11, 12 minutes of still that ovation, Rafael Palmeiro, you see him pushing him out. And Cal Ripken started going down, slapping hands, going around. And it continued. He continued. It was very emotional. People were crying, people were cheering, people were clapping. They show the president, they show this person, that person. He went down the first baseline. He went around the outfield. He came down the third baseline. He high-fived police officers. He high-fived the grounds crew. He high-fived with the bullpens. Fans, hugged fans. They hugged him. the Angels baseball team. I think he greeted every single one of them. Umpires. And whoever else. I can't remember everybody. It was a lot of people. People were hugging him, slapping his back, shaking his hand, high-fiving him. Why? Because he did something that many Americans used to strive to. Many Americans used to have a work ethic. They were proud of going to work every single day. They would get it done. As investors, it's not a race. It's not, I'm going to get rich overnight like so many people think it is. It's a journey. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Investing is a journey. It will take years. Years. It's the rare person that gets wealthy overnight. Extremely rare. It takes years. It took Cal Ripken from 1982 to 1995 to set that record. No one's ever done it before. And he kept playing, like I said, for a few more years. As investors, we can become financially independent in less time than it took Cal Ripken to break the record and set a new one. We can all do it. I didn't know how to do it way back when. 1990, I started investing in mutual funds. I didn't know about real estate. I now know about real estate. I got a call coming in. It's kind of blocking my screen a little bit there. It'll go away soon. I can't half see myself. I got a little phone. So anyway, when I discovered real estate and bought my first rental property was January of 2017. January 2017 to December of 2020, I bought 25 rental units. I've said this 100 times, probably more than that. If I can do it, so can all of you. Don't make excuses. I hear them all the time. I hear them from friends of mine. I don't have enough money. I have too many bills. I can't afford it. I can't do what you did. You invested in stocks for 30 years. You had money. I've said it before. I did not use my stock money to buy those houses. I corrected myself at one point. I used stock money to buy 2 houses in self-directed IRAs because I paid cash for these 2 houses. So that means 23 other units I bought, not using stock money, using this and using very little money out of my pocket. I've detailed that in a playlist I have of 0 to 25. It's 4 videos, I believe, of how I did it. Granted, a lot of you won't do what I did. Many of you, most of you watch this will not do what I did. But if you really want to, you can. But things have to be tuned right. Your life has to be in the right position. I was grown. I was older. My kids were out of the house. My personal house was paid off. And when I started, I was in that position, older. I wasn't younger, raising a family. I was older. That makes a difference. But now I had Millennial Mike tell me how much he's saving every month. The most I ever saved every month was way less than what he's saving back in the day when I was trying to save money. Couldn't afford it. Didn't make enough. Couldn't afford it. I saved very little money, $50 a month at times, $100 a month on the good times. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. But look within yourself for motivation. Look at what others have done to help you stay motivated. Look at Cal Ripken, what he did. Know in your mind, you can reach financial independence faster than it took Cal Ripken Jr. to break a record that may stand for a decade. It may stand until the youngest person watching this is dead and gone. That's how long that record may stand. Because people just don't. Ball players, life is different now. It's going to be harder for a ball player to do what he did. But it's going to happen one day, perhaps. So anyway, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully I helped motivate you just a little bit. Hopefully you'll watch the link below. In that link below, if you're still sticking around, it's a long article. It's quotes from a variety of people, a lot of people. It's a long article. There's embedded videos in the link as it goes down. near the bottom, not the very bottom, but near the bottom, there's one video that is 18 minutes long. I may try to see if it's on YouTube, just that 18-minute video. I encourage all of you to watch that video in its entirety. Don't stop at the 5-minute mark when it's kind of boring. Watch it in its entirety. It's only 18 minutes of your life. This video is not going to go for 18 minutes. So y'all take care. I'm not sure what link will go below, but find it, click on it, and watch it. And put in the comments below what you think. All right? Good enough. I wish you the best in your journey towards financial independence. I wish you the best in everything in your life. And as always, stay safe. Mazske is signing out.